Hey, what's up, Street Dogs? The Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. So, I'm gonna do another random, spirited, shady, elevator turbo thoughts for you. All right, so the basic notion I wanted to talk to you about is this. Is having a nomadic life the best life, and why do we romanticize photography so much? So first and foremost, I don't think anyone likes to stay in office all day, obviously, right? And so I think that there's something in the human nature and the human spirit where we actually prefer to wander, to explore, to see new things. And I really feel that photography kind of gives us this interesting, lifestyle, which allows us to be on the road, to be nomadic, to live simply, to feel inspired, to feel motivated. And I can say definitely from my personal experiences, living on the road has certainly helped me live a more interesting life. And not only that, but the nice thing about living more nomadically is you're just kind of always on point. You're always exposed to new stimuli, whether there be sound, whether it be smell, whether it be perspectives. And it really does seem that having all this foreign external stimuli does at least inspire you more to just walk around more, to photograph more, and to wander more. And now, this is also the kind of thing that's really tricky, is that just because you live a more inspired and motivated life, I don't think you're necessarily actually happier per se. I don't think you're really actually that much happier per se. And so the question is, being a more inspired, motivated photographer, does that give you a better life or not? Ooh, check out the views. Nice day in Providence. Alright, anyways, so going back to the video at hand. Alright, so just because you're more motivated as a photographer, I don't think you're actually that much happier. I mean, to make a lot of photos is obviously good, and I think ultimately, for me at least, I think the purpose of my life is to make great photos, to make great art. And this is like a big philosophical breakthrough I've made, is I don't actually necessarily think that happiness is the point in life. I think artistic productivity is the point in life, if you want it to be, right? And so if you're, your telos or your purpose in life, you just want to spend the rest of your life making great photos, yeah, and yes, maybe trying to live some sort of nomadic, simple life is actually probably one of the best ways you could fulfill your life's purpose. And that means that just try to figure out what you want to sacrifice, right? So then you're gonna sacrifice like stability, owning a BMW, whatever it may be. And then it's kind of realizing that maybe I do prefer a life where I have fewer possessions, or I prefer a life where I'm just always on my toes. For myself personally, I realized maybe the best life, I call it like intermittent living. So the basic notion of intermittent living is this, is that you spend sometimes on the road and sometimes kind of semi-settled in one place. So I think for me, ideally, I'd stay kind of rooted somewhere for like 1 to 2 years, and then move somewhere else, and then get to know a new city, and then intermittently travel in between. And the benefits is that, like, for example, I like to go to the gym, I like to lift weights, I like to do powerlifting and stuff like that. And so kind of being semi-rooted in one place right now is really beneficial because I can maintain my gains, right? And also the cool thing is, especially in your new city, there's actually a lot of new things to explore too. So Providence, I'm currently living in Providence, Rhode Island. Yeah, the smallest city in America, or not the smallest city, but one of the smallest states. And there's a lot to explore here. And there's still a lot of the downtown I haven't really explored. There's a lot of other neighborhoods in town I haven't really explored either. And so you know, there's still a lot for me to explore and stuff like that. And also it's kind of I think it depends on your perspective too. So like, let's say you're stuck in the Bay Area or something like that in San Jose, there's still probably a lot of San Francisco you haven't checked out, or a lot of like San Jose you might have not even checked out. So I think that in terms of photography and art, you could always go deeper, because I think the mistake that I did when I started first traveling was I just spent like 1 or 2 days in a bunch of different places, but then once you just have a superficial understanding, you don't actually really get deep into a place, and then it's actually a little bit less interesting. So maybe the best thing is that you could stay in a place that's relatively small, but go really, really deep, and then the more deep you could get into it, the better. So for example, getting to know one neighborhood very, very well in your own home city might be better for photography and art. And there are certainly some benefits of being rooted, you know, find a nice coffee shop, you know, where there's a good Wi-Fi connection and so forth. And so yeah, so ultimately my big takeaway is living a semi-nomadic life or intermittent living seems like the best life. I haven't really figured out all the life questions yet, but if you're someone stuck with a 9-to-5 job, or in Silicon Valley a 10:30 to 7:30 p.m. job, use every opportunity you have to make photos and art. You know, take photos during your commute. If you're stuck in a car, safely snap some photos outside the window. That's what I used to do. Or after work, you know, take an hour to just walk around your neighborhood, snap some photos. So spend less time inside the apartment, less time watching Netflix, and more time making art. So what are some photo life hacks you have? Feel free to share in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Peace out.